All right, everyone, it's Thursday. I'm Andrew Dow. Time for a Happening in the Hamptons podcast, our weekly breakdown of the Hamptons market, new listings, and events on the East End. We are sponsored today by New York Title Abstract, the Hamptons' leading title insurance firm. Visit NewYorkTitle.com. We have Steve Glick, Dave Rotiner today, Miss Laura White, and Mr. Peter Mangiameli. Did I say that right?
You said that right.
Excellent. He is with Hamptons Development Group. He is a premier builder in the Hamptons, over 20 years experience. I have 70 luxury homes over your career out here.
That's about right.
Something around there.
Wow.
Builds one of a kind, amazing, amazing houses. One that we are proud to represent here at Saunders is 199 Georgian Lane in Watermill. We will talk a little bit more about this incredible listing in just a little bit on Mecox Bay. Amazing views. But let's start with you, Peter. How did you get into this? How did you get to 70? I mean, you've been doing it for a long time, a lot of great homes in your resume. So where did it all start?
It starts with one gray hair, and then you get more gray hairs. And then you have 70 homes.
Yeah.
So I'm a musician by trade, and I carried lumber through high school working for my uncle, and one thing led to another. I ended up having a carpentry company, became a custom builder. I was blessed to, do some work for some A-list celebrities and financiers. Had a great clientele for a long time, a big estate management company. And,
just snowballed from there.
People were just good to me, and I guess I did a decent job.
I'm curious because when we've talked to agents, we usually have agents on the podcast, and everybody's kind of had a life before real estate. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that you say you were a musician before you got into the development side of things. What instrument do you play? And how did you transition from musician? I actually
almost thought I heard that wrong. I was like, this guy's a musician? I can't believe that.
So I was at the studio last night working on a new album, haven't stopped playing.
Wait, for real? So you're like, wow. Trades. Okay,
how cool is that?
Yeah.
I got 20 pretty cool guitars, a bunch of other instruments. I'm playing bass and guitar on this album.
Nice.
It's just been kind of fun. I've never really played bass on a whole album. I've done a song here or there.
So you're a real artist. I mean, it's separate from being a businessman, with the construction, you must have an artistic mind when you're presenting these properties.
So I'm cursed that I have both sides 50-50 when I take those tests, right?
Right.
Personality tests. And I think I would be a lot more successful if I had one side of the brain or the other, but I have them both.
Wow.
And I think the music side has helped me with the spec building I'm doing because you put 4 or 5 musicians in a room and they've all got egos and want to do something different. And you got to get it together and make it, cohesive and special, right?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing I do with my design team. So all that practice of being a band leader over the years it groomed me perfectly for what I'm doing right now, designing these homes.
Wow,
and
so cool.
Your company, Hamptons Development Group, you have in-house architects and designers, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, it's almost like a big, architecture firm. I have 3 high-level people plus myself, and then the landscape architect comes in and out as we need. But 3 high-level people, doing stuff on Central Park West and stuff, like real legit people.
Yeah.
And myself, the 4 of us, all kind of equal, bring different things to the table, have conversations, come up with the wackiest ideas. We don't always use them, but that's my job to kind of sift through the ideas and, say this is a great idea and how do we make it fit into the budget, right? So everybody gets to go wherever they want to go. So they love the projects we work on because they have a lot of freedom. And then, of course, it gets reeled in and becomes, our project, the end product.
So do people approach you and say, hey, I've seen your work, I love what you're doing, I want you to build a house for me? Or is it more that you see an opportunity and build accordingly? Or both?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's probably both. My prior life for 20 years was great architects and designers bringing me into their projects, right? Because I was executing. Now, the past 7 or 8 years, it's been a lot more rewarding for me. I don't have a boss,
right?
So I literally wake up in the morning. I have a couple of partners, but I don't have a boss, and I go find special properties and work with my team to develop them. That's my primary biz. I just sold 1953 Scuttle Hole Road. I think we're going to be closing next week. And the buyers knew me from 342 Town Line. They loved that house, but they wanted a larger property with more views. And, when they heard it was me, they bought the house. I don't even think it was sheetrocked.
Because they knew.
Wow.
They knew your style.
Just your reputation.
Yeah, you're our favorite builder. We love your stuff. We want to buy
That
this
is so
house.
cool.
Yeah, and they paid really close to ask.
What was like your first moment when you were starting out in your career where you were like, oh, you know, I'm good at this. Like you could sense that you could do it. Because to me, you know, it's sort of a fantasy to be a builder. You know, it sounds like such an amazing job. Buy a piece of land in the Hamptons, build a beautiful property, sell it for millions of dollars. It's like a total fantasy. It's impossible. You know what I mean? When was the moment where you were like, oh, I could totally do this?
So it's funny. I think it might be tomorrow.
I think you're already there.
So there's the custom building, right, is not my creativity. It's more of organization and, you know, sourcing and, you know, there's a lot of paperwork and supervision and know-how that goes into building, right? So that part I learned being in the trades. When I started doing the spec stuff, I knew I could do it because in the past, when I was in my late 20s, I bought a house in Bellport. And my family came to see it. I bought it like on a Monday. And my family came to see it that weekend, and it was gone. There was just a floor system. I knocked the whole thing down. And they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to build something way better than this.
Oh, wow.
So,
And you knew you could.
yeah, and I think I sold for 2.5x what my neighborhood was going for.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. This just like, that enabled me to move to the Hamptons and buy land out here. And Andrew, by the way, Andrew Saunders, I know Andrew since before 2000. And he didn't even have his real estate license when I knew him.
Wow.
And I think I might have been his first sale in the Hamptons. He sold me my property in Sagaponic when he had a Sotheby's desk.
No kidding. It is a
In the
small
early
world out here.
days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 199 Georgian. Laura, you represent this listing.
I do. Very proud to be representing it.
Laura, tell us a little bit about this property, and then Peter, you can kind of tell us how this all came to be.
Well, I'm very excited to be representing. We've had a really great opening to the property as well. We've had excellent showings. The house shows impeccably well because it gives you really the best of everything the Hamptons has. You drive down Rose Hill Road, past a gorgeous farm reserve, onto a privatized road, cul-de-sac street, and then it opens up to a wide open waterfront. I think that's every dream that someone has of living in the Hamptons. And Pete designed this home with his architects specifically to allow each room to have a waterfront view. Not water view, a waterfront view. So I think there's a really big difference between that and any other home that's on the market currently, or really that I've ever seen. It's not just the view, it's his execution is perfect. The flow of the house really is today's lifestyle. You flow from one room to another, but yet you can privatize each room. It just gives you everything that I believe a homeowner that's looking to have a statement home wants, but it's modern living to its ultimate.
The thing that I like about this house is two aspects of this. One, the infinity edge pool, right? That's great because I'm sure I haven't been in the pool. I've been to the house, but I haven't been in the pool. But you're there and you're like overlooking Mecox Bay, and then you have these concrete squares that are
Pavers.
pavers, yeah. But then there's grass growing in between, so it looks very natural and very cool. And then the other part about it that I like is actually the primary bathroom is like amazing. That shower is like very cool with
the whole thing's like a piece of art.
Yeah.
You say spec homes, but these are not a spec home. This is like a custom
home.
This is a custom home, you know, built perfectly for the land that's there. It's on obviously it's on the water. It also has a dock. But, you know, when you're looking, you know, Pete, when you're looking at properties and you're trying to figure out which one is going to be, you know, the best return on your investment or, you know, is a unique and special, what attracted you to this property here?
So, I mean, the property is just a special property. You know, it comes with like 30 swans too. They're in the backyard every single day.
On a bad day. On a good day is 100.
So, this property, like others, it's kind of a gut thing. You know, you walk on a property and you just get this special feeling, and then you got to make the numbers work. I saw a property in Sagaponic a few years ago. I'll go back to Georgia in a minute, but I saw this property in Sagaponic, and 2 acres, reserve, you know, sounds perfect, right?
Yeah.
But there was a house built there that really took away from the beauty of the whole thing. Somebody put up an ugly ass house.
And
And I think it diminished the entire
Sure.
area.
Yeah.
So it just, I didn't get that warm, fuzzy feeling. I'm like, this is bothering me. I'm not going to go like trying to figure out how to make this work financially if it's bothering me.
Yep.
So you have to get that feeling.
it's a feeling. Yep.
When I was there, the view was so spectacular across
It really is so
the cove,
beautiful.
right?
That's so beautiful.
And the previous owner had put in a seawall, and so the land is about 4 feet higher than the wetlands. So you just naturally have this nice trajectory, which gives you more water, right? Instead of looking across water, you're looking down at water.
Yeah.
So you see more of it, and you different perspective, much better. And I was there, and I said, "Wow, this would be amazing." And I pretty much designed the house that's there now. I'm really being simplistic here. In my head, I said I want every single room in the back of the house to have a view, and then the hallway in the front of the house. Right, so that was the impetus for that design. And the design team worked on it, and the hallway became an art gallery at the stairwell, and the rest of the hallway. It doesn't feel like a hallway, right? It's got these push outs that are 3 or 4 foot deep with doors and windows. You could have sculptures and furniture in these places, in the hallway, so to speak.
Yep.
So the design team really, we don't have hallways. Like we have these beautiful areas within the hallway that you're walking down.
Kind of like a gallery connection.
Transitional
That's
area.
what I looked at.
But do you
It
think-
connects
yeah.
space.
I think that's right.
Do you imagine like what people are going to do while living there? Because I remember we were there just doing an open house. We were in the kitchen, and we noticed like in the kitchen there was like this. You could walk down to this other room that opened, and the whole door opened up.
The
and
pool house.
Yeah, the pool house, like right, but it was like right around the corner. So you're like looking out at the water. Then like right around the corner, there's like this whole other room, and it opens right out, and then that opens right out to the barbecue. And so it was like so easy for you to imagine throwing a party where you had something going on in the kitchen, something going on in the barbecue, and you could like talk through the window out
It's
to
a
the
great
people out by the
indoor-outdoor
barbecue.
flow.
Yeah,
The
like
flow.
Very important for someone.
like I mean, did you think like we all like we were like, oh, that's a sign of a good builder when we were there? Like, did you think of that? Did you think that through? Obviously, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah,
you
so
did.
that's the design team. Like we have the property. One of us brings the idea. Scuttle Hole Road, Kristen, one of my designers, she brought the idea for this vineyard house. She had this inspiration home that we kind of modeled the exterior after. And the whole vocabulary there was these large 5 foot by 9 foot tall windows every 6 or 8 feet. And it was just a simplistic window in a 16-inch deep wall, almost like you're in Europe. That was our inspiration, like masonry walls with these beautiful European windows. And that became a vocabulary so that we could see these beautiful farms and vineyard and beyond. At Georgian, I came up with the idea, and then we refined it to what it is. And when I say refine, we work with a site plan first, then we do a schematic where the rooms are going to be, then we do a draft of the plans, the floor plans, as we're working on some elevations.
Oh, wow.
And then 2 or 3 of us will go back and forth several times and modify each other's plans. And then I'll make the decisions in, hey, this is better than what we had before. I actually like what we did before here, but not there. And then everybody's ideas 3 or 4 times through kind of get put together, the best of the best. And they're all really high-level people. So it's a wonderful process.
And what goes into like sourcing the materials? Because I know in this property you have a lot of unique aesthetics all throughout the house. Like, where do you go to source? Is it could you go to other countries? Is it like what goes involved in that?
It's funny you say that. All the windows and doors are from Europe.
Okay.
They're Cortizo. They're made in Spain. I've been to the factory. It's unbelievable. Wow. The factory is like a country, small country. And the Cortizo windows and doors, I don't think there's anything better.
Okay.
We work with some countries in Europe to maybe work with the exchange rate. That helps us purchase them and value engineer, so to speak. We get pavers from all over the world. Those concrete pavers that you mentioned before are not concrete. They're actually a type of limestone. They look like concrete, but they don't have all the imperfections. Concrete has that patina, it cracks, etc. These won't. They'll look perfect forever.
Wow.
So we sourced those. I think these came from India somewhere. Beautiful, beautiful stone. They don't
That's
get
awesome.
hot. So we're always working on that stuff. And then as we work with vendors, our vendors will steer us and, hey, have you seen this, Pete? So it's just a lot of just, being on the wheel and talking to people and exploring different ideas. And the designers do a bunch too, because they work on other projects besides mine. They do some other side stuff because they've had such great careers. They get called to do things, and they're always bringing cool products to them.
Well, it really shows, even walking through the house, just the simplest thing about just looking at like the door jambs, right? You look at a door, but then when you really look closely, you see how the door opens up and how it swings. It's like hidden in, and it's something that like when you walk through the house, you're picking up little things like that. And that's just a sign of like a good builder and the quality of work that goes into it. And most people don't really notice that. But when you look closely and talk to the agent, those are the things that they're going to point out. And you know right away that, hey, this is quality. This is something that is unique and special.
It's like the devil's in the details, right? You can tell the difference between a good build and a great build is all in the finish and and how things come together and move. I'm looking at the kitchen online, and there's lights built in to the cabinets that are kind of flush mounted underneath. And who did the kitchen?
Everything's custom built.
Everything's custom built.
So we use the word spec house because it's for sale, right? Mm-hmm. But this really is.
Yeah.
It's not a speculative home.
Right.
This is my 20 years of custom building for A-list celebs and billionaires, and we're taking that same craftsmanship to these homes. And we're keeping the high level of design that my custom homes had when I worked with, Peter Cook, Robert Amster and Boris Bronovich, big time names.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of, I recognize how important design is. I've got some architects' websites that I've worked for, and my house is on there that I did for them or someone else's, but the quality isn't what puts something on a website. It's design. Yeah. In person, the quality is super important, but you're not going to be on somebody's website if the design's not great.
Right.
The design is just as important, and we really focus on that.
I really especially enjoy your inspiration for your suites, your guest suites.
That was fun. My ex-girlfriend was with a Fortune 200 company, a C-level executive, and she'd have to have these board meetings 4 times a year at the Four Seasons in New York. And the built-ins they have in those rooms were the inspiration for the built-ins at George and Lane in the bedroom.
And I think it's
Is that where
appreciated. Everyone that sees it totally appreciates and gets it and realizes that really all you bring is, you include a bed and a bedside table and you're done. It's just such a great flow, and it's open and airy because you've done such wonderful built-ins in every single room. No one feels left out. Everyone's got
It's a good way of putting
equal level of luxury living.
It was. We were thinking like hotel suite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was the whole thought behind each bedroom.
Great inspiration.
Do you have any because it's frustrating for me walking into a construction and then someone will say next to me, I hate the way that they did this, and I'm really unable to see it until they point it out. Do you have any specific pet peeves with new construction that you've seen where you're just like, oh man, I can't believe they're doing that,
Like a
someone else's
6-inch recessed light instead of a 4-inch or something.
Like for example, we walked into a home the other day, and it was so obvious that there should be a chandelier there, and the guy just had a light bulb hanging. Anything like that?
That could be for a future fixture, possibly. but to answer your question, the list is long.
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm sure
spec builders really spend enough time on design at all. I think they hire a drafts person, the cheapest guy they can get. Hallways in some of these houses are just horrible. You shouldn't have this horrible hallway without windows or light or, some type of recess and, expanding in different areas for furniture and art and things like that. Another thing is, we like to make the garage separate. Almost every property I do, the garage being separate, I think creates more of an estate feel. Mm-hmm. And then also you don't lose all the windows on that wall. Mm-hmm. I'm in so many of these homes that have a kitchen up against the garage and there's no light. It's a dark kitchen.
It's dark. Yeah.
Smart.
It's an interesting way.
So there's just, I don't
I'm going to
think
pay
people
attention to that
I
now.
never thought of that until just
Yeah,
now.
that makes a lot of
exactly what I'm
sense.
talking about.
I don't think people focus on design nearly enough. And then there's the anti-spaces. When you go from a hallway to a room, that's a stark difference, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to, in my mind, you want to go into a recess off the hallway first, enter the room in an anti-space, and then the rectangle of the room opens up after that. So there's a transition that makes you feel good, whether you're aware of it or not. What's making you feel good?
Free. You're not falling into your rooms. You're going through this beautiful space, and then it opens up to you with each one having the head-on water view, which is amazing. Because many homes you walk into, you fall into a bedroom, and then over on the side is the closet and the bath. Here, you really have that as a complete flow. As an entrance.
I think it makes a big difference. I think other people's homes are almost like a schematic, like they didn't finish them.
Right.
In my opinion.
Interesting.
And I'm just a snob because I've worked with so many great designers. I've been blessed.
No, but that, like I said, I mean, there's a difference between good and great. You know what I mean? It's a spec home can be a nice house, but and I think a lot of times you'll find that people will build, they'll put a house on a lot instead of building the house for the lot. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which obviously isn't the case with this particular house.
And for the record, it costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time to do one-off homes. I mean, it's completely opposite like what Joe Farrell or other guys do, right? They're more of reproducing things, right? Reproducing details, reproducing the same house for the most part. We're taking a ton of time to create a one-off home.
Yep.
So it's a real different business model, I think, what I do and what other people do.
For sure.
Agreed.
I like to say it's a custom home for sale versus a spec house. I
Yes.
prefer to market it in that perspective.
Yes.
I think that sums it up.
Let's transition a little bit to the bigger picture with Steve and the data on the Hamptons as a whole. What do you got?
All right. So this past week, there were just a week of October 8th. And there were 29 listings that went into contract from West Hampton to Montauk. Last year, there were 23. So we're looking at a year-over-year increase of 26%. 2 years ago, there were 27 listings that went into contract. So again, over the past 2 years, it was an increase of 7%. The breakdown of the 29 transactions this week, there was 4 between 5 and 10 million, 4 between 3 and 5, 6 between 2 and 3, 10 between 1 and 2, and 5 under $1 million. The dollar volume this past week was $78 million. Last year was $63 million. That's an increase of 24%. And 2 years ago in 2022, it was $66 million. So that's an increase of 18%. So we're seeing increases across the board on both in contracts and dollar volume. New listings coming onto the market. 36 new listings came onto the market. So that increases the inventory by 7 listings. And the breakdown of those 36 new listings, there was 2 between 15 and 20 million, 1 between 10 and 15 million, 4 between 5 and 10, 5 between 3 and 5, 9 between 2 and 3, 10 between 1 and 2, and 5 under $1 million. The inventory stands at 2,126 total listings with 1,606 active and 520 in contract. So another good week as we're in the selling season. We talk about this, multiple weeks now that this is part of the selling season here that we're in, and that's going to continue all the way through, the Thanksgiving season. So it's active. It's busy. We're coming off a big weekend of the holiday weekend where we had Columbus Day, Yom Kippur. It was the fall holiday open house special that we had going on here at Saunders. It was very active, and we're going to see how those numbers translate into next week.
People are out. Yep. Dave, what do you got? What's happening this week? Tell us what to do.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the Shelter Island 5K.
That's a great place to start.
So that is outrunning cancer for 25 years. You can join them in the fight, and your support can make a difference by running this 5K on Shelter Island Saturday, October 19th at 11 a.m., and it starts at Crescent Beach.
It's going to be great weather. It's going to be a beautiful day.
And my mother just got over breast cancer, and it's like unbelievable how healthy she is now. It like blows
That's
me
fantastic.
away. So like all of these things now, I guess because it's more personal to me, like it like triggers me like, oh, maybe I'll go to this thing. It's such an important thing to do. Raise money for
Go
these guys.
Team Heaven Can't Wait. That's a direct support for Lucia's Angels. Lucia was a good friend of mine, and I will be walking, not running,
Great.
for Team Heaven Can Wait on Saturday.
Oh, fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't even know what my time would be on a 5K right now. In high school, I could do it in like 20 minutes. That would probably
20 minutes would be very good.
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah,
I was
quick.
Under a half hour.
Star,
Half hour is a good goal, right?
Well, you get timed there, Dave. So come on come on over and try it.
Shoot for under
I
25.
did it 48 minutes, All right. So then the second thing I wanted to bring up is this restaurant, Dopo Argento. This is one of Peter's favorite restaurants in Southampton.
Spot. Those are my boys, and that's one of the best restaurants in the Hamptons.
And Steve and I have been there, and it is we've been there with a couple of people.
Yeah.
And it is totally authentic Italian food, and it's got that cool outdoor area.
This is the one in South. We went to the one in. We went both. Yeah, we went both. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, really recommend that place. And
Oh,
Very
this is across
authentic.
from the Saunders office.
Yeah, this
right
is-
across from
in Southampton,
right across and it's kind of has a cool little bar scene as well.
Argento, yeah.
They've got a great
Yeah.
staff. They've got Mario.
Yeah, the bartender was really funny. Yeah,
Vlad's over there.
All right, drinks were good. I remember the drinks.
It's a good time.
yeah, yeah. Or we don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I remember.
And they had some food as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really good.
The French fries were incredible.
It was a great vibe there. I love that.
And then also wanted to bring up this restaurant El Verano in Southampton, which I've only been to one time, and it was very good. But I've only been there once. But you like that place as well?
That's my other jam. Yeah,
It's like bougie Mexican food.
That's exactly right. It's bougie Mexican. Lobster tacos, braised duck wraps. The owner chef has it's 4 or 5 restaurants in New York, and he's totally legit, and he runs a great place there. I don't know if he's still doing it, but Thursdays he had like a DJ night.
Oh,
so
cool.
again, it's like Argento. It's really great food and like kind of a good time. Some fun.
Has a great lunch too.
Man, I gotta check that.
Good spot right there in downtown Southampton too.
Yeah, locations.
Yeah.
And then just sticking with the Oktoberfest thing,
Sure.
pumpkin spice beer,
Yep.
pumpkin flavored. Everything's pumpkin.
Are you a pumpkin beer guy?
No. It tastes like sugar. It's like pure.
Yeah, I think
it's-
it is.
It's
They put it
like
on the
yeah,
rim.
it's like adding Coca-Cola to
They
beer.
add cinnamon and call it pumpkin.
Yeah, it's
Right?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, I don't think there's
Spicy.
any pumpkin in it.
yeah. Well, whatever it is, it's not good.
It starts
But
after
it's part of the
Labor Day.
it's part of the
Yeah.
spiel. Yeah. Yeah, like we brought in pumpkin spice for the coffee this morning, and I had some in, and then I poured it right out in the sink.
yeah.
I was like, no, that's not for me. They make a lot of money with it, though.
That's terrible.
So that is Amber Waves Oktoberfest fundraiser. We're going to join us for farm feasting, live music, dancing, races and games for the children and adults, and an opportunity to raise funds for Amber Waves. So that's October 19th at 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And you guessed it, at Amber Waves Farm. And it's just so impressive. Amber Waves has turned a farmer into like this luxury brand.
It is
It's
without
so
question
weird.
the most popular
It's
trucker hat.
so
in the Hamptons.
funny. It's like because there's
Everybody
a lot of
has
farm
that.
stands out here.
Yeah.
Like there's like farm stands are all over. Amber Waves is the only one where it's like there's Amber Waves, and then you think of like Louis Vuitton or something. It's like, isn't it weird? Am I the only one that thinks that? I think it's
Dave,
so
I've never
weird.
been. Where is it?
It's in Amagansett on Main Street. Yeah.
It's like it's a bougie farm.
It is, yes.
It's a bougie farm stand.
I'm in.
And they have a great hat. They sell a great hat.
It's also community. It's community.
No, I mean, it's a real
agriculture.
farm.
It's a
It's like a
real
real thing,
community
but, like,
farming.
it-
all
but-
local, yes.
But they really have captured this luxury-ness
Audience,
to it.
yeah.
Audience.
It's
Yeah,
a
luxury
local, the
audience.
local feeling. It's
Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
local to the Hamptons if you go to Amber
right,
Waves.
Right. So that's what's going on in the Hamptons.
All right.
Love it.
That's perfect. Anything else before we let you guys go?
It was wonderful chatting with you kids, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. If you have any questions about 199 George, and Laura is the agent to reach out to.
We'll be having an open house this Saturday
There you
at
go.
199 Georgian
Fantastic.
from 12 to 2. Hope to see you there. Please, anyone would like to see it another time, give us a holler, and we'll be there whenever you're ready.
Yeah, it's a
But
beautiful.
it's an excellent location, an amazing property and home. And Pete, thanks for joining us today.
For sure. We'll
you.
have you on another time. That's great. We'll call that a podcast today, everybody. That's what's happening in the Hamptons. I'm Andrew Dowd. Everybody have a great day.